Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for yet another unboxing of some beautiful Oregon and California rocks from our friend Adam over at West Coast Rocks on eBay. He always sends a lot of surprises. This box is no exception. Let's see what we got today. Well, we're looking at another beautiful batch of rocks from Oregon. I actually believe this time they are all from Oregon. Sometimes Adam sends us some from California. This one, if I remember right, actually is from California. I think he had it listed as a California brecciated jasper. Beautiful pattern in that one. We'll start with the freebies, as he calls them. This time he sent me more freebies than the ones I bought. I actually bought these 3. Thank you very much, Adam. You're always awesome. We'll look at them dry first and we'll read the labels. This is a Oregon River, dark green bowenite. I guess that's a kind of jade. I know there are several types of jade. I really don't know much about them. I believe this is from the Rogue River. The label tore apart as I was viciously opening these. But let's look at the rock. That's more interesting than the label. So this is it dry. It's extremely smooth to the touch. I wanted to point this out to you guys when it's dry. Look how it's even shiny when it's dry. That's what I mean by how smooth this rock is. It feels like glass when you're holding it. And that just testifies to its hardness. Which I guess jade is obviously a gemstone, so it's hard. That's one of its features. Beautiful stuff. We'll get it wet here in a minute. I just want to look at them all dry first. This is crystallized obsidian from Glass Butte, Oregon. I'm assuming the term crystallized comes from the texture on the outside. This is like sandpaper, extremely sharp. Probably on a microscopic level, those are all needles or something. That's what it feels like in my hand. It feels like I'm holding a cactus. But you can clearly see it's beautiful obsidian. Yeah, looking at this obsidian up close, definitely can see the conchoidal fracture. No doubt there. I was hoping to be able to zoom in on whatever's making this so rough to the touch. It's almost like shards. Very cool pattern. Also note that this material is quite transparent or translucent. See, the light goes through it there on the edge. Interesting. I wonder if that's how it is unweathered, or if that's a weathering feature. And he calls this mystery stone. Help me identify from the Rogue River. Adam, I agree with you. You say possibly a rhyolite. That would be my guess as well, especially knowing the location. Yeah, this does have a unique pattern. I'm not sure, Adam, if I would call this a basalt or a rhyolite. It could really go either way in my estimation. And we've talked about this in rock identification. It's not like there's basalt and then there's rhyolite. There's an endless, infinite spectrum in between where it gradually grades from one to the other. You can have a myriad of samples in between. And where do you draw the line? Where do you stop calling it rhyolite and start calling it basalt? Depending on the mafic versus felsic content, since those can infinitely vary. And this is another rhyolite, multicolored rhyolite from Rock Creek Beach, also in Oregon. If you guys remember, the flower stones that I have actually quite a bit of now come from Rock Creek Beach. So that's interesting to see the correlation. And then we have a piece of granite from also the Rogue River. Adam, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm under the assumption that these, let's call them granitoids, referring to a rock that is similar to granite in structure, but it may have a different name depending on the exact minerals present. So let's call this a granitoid. I'm under the assumption that granitoids in the Rogue River are extremely rare. In the video clip you sent me and what I've seen in your store, there just are not a lot of plutonic igneous rocks in your area. So this is unique. I'd love to know its history, how it got there. Thank you so much, Adam. Good thinking in sticking something like this in the box, because the location makes it very interesting. I like this a lot. I'm inserting here a little clip that Adam was kind enough to send me of one of the places he goes on the road. Because I'm always hounding Adam. I'm always saying, Adam, post bigger rocks. You guys know me. I like rocks that I can see all the way across the yard. I like the big ones, you know, 20 pounds or greater. And so Adam, in response to that, he sent me this clip.
Hey Chris, this video's for you. I know you said the gravel looks all gray, but it looks that way until it gets wet. And then there's every color you can imagine. Every kind of rock you can imagine. I kayaked over here from over there. They look gray up there. Get to the water, and there's everything. They get bigger over this way. Hopefully you can see that.
Yes, we can see it clearly, Adam. Thank you so much. This is awesome. I love how clear that water is.
There's a big red one I want to get for you, but it's just too big. I can't get it back with my kayak very well. Look at this here. Oh boy. It's one of those rhyolites you like.
So you guys have seen the Bullseye Agate, as we've been calling them. And then there have also been a few that have just been labeled this flat rhyolite. And I think they might be related. Adam, it would be interesting to see if you could ever find the origin of that material, if they're coming from the same place.
I think I'll keep that one. Let me. Jasper Quartz.
And he walks about a quarter mile carrying his kayak, like down a steep embankment, then kayaks across the river to these places where there are gravel bars. Then he has to carry the rocks and the kayak back. So I fully understand the reluctance to get too many big ones. But these are beautiful rocks. Let's look at them wet. This is also a rhyolite from the Rogue River. And looking at these spots, it's interesting to see the ones that have both the dark and the light material. You notice it's almost like either the light or the dark was heavier and settled in first, because they're all oriented the same way, which is kind of interesting. Let's look at it wet. Maybe you'll see what I mean. So if you look at this spot here, you see it's half white and half black. This spot here is half white and half black. This spot here is half white and half black. I'm calling it black. It might be a dark brown. Sorry, my camera's having a hard time focusing for some reason. But anyway, that's an interesting... now that I look, I'm actually seeing quite a few of them are that way. Adam, I don't know if you noticed that, what your thoughts might be. Let's get it in the sun. Yeah, there's actually, if you start looking, there's quite a few of them that are half filled with dark material, or partially, and then the light on top as I'm holding the rock. Trying to see if there's any more of those that are half full. You've heard the saying about, are you a half full glass person or a half empty glass person? So are these spots half full of dark or half full of light? Very interesting rock, Adam. I really like this one. I'll be watching your store for more that exhibit that particular pattern. The rock doesn't seem porous at all. It's staying wet. Usually when a rock is porous, it absorbs the water. Yeah, very nice rhyolite. Another interesting feature about that darker material, do you notice how it's almost shiny and has that conchoidal fracture? Maybe it's like jasper or agate. I hope that's showing up. It really reflects the sun differently than the surrounding rock. Yeah, that looks pretty much a conchoidal fracture right there. But this is some kind of a rhyolite. Adam has actually had quite a few of these. Right now, I think he has like 3 of these on at his eBay store. They're not exactly like this, but they have the same basic pattern and content. And these are the beautiful Bullseye Agates. You guys remember in the last box of rocks video, I showed the one I bought plus another one that I already have. Well, now here's another one. I actually said in that video that I think I'm going to watch for these with Adam, and all the ones he posts I'm going to get because I kind of like hoarding them. They're very nice rocks. Some kind of crystalline quartz formation. We're calling it a Bullseye Agate. I don't really think it's agate. I think it's crystalline quartz. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. The reason I say that is that you can see a radiating structure in each of these sections of the rock. And still some voids in between them. Not sure if those are softer material that has eroded out or if they were always voids. But evidently there's enough of this material somewhere that I think I already have 4 of them. And Adam, I've seen other ones in his store over the last few years. Beautiful brecciated jasper. Really nice pattern on this, Adam. This is a nice find. It's solid. Pattern goes all the way around. Awesome colors. I wonder what that orange patch is. That's kind of cool. It's like the only one too. In the video I did on actually that sculpture over there, the low one right in the middle of the screen as we're looking at it, has the rocks from Central California. And remember, we talked about the different vein patterns in the jaspers. This is what we would call brecciated, where the rock is shattered enough that you really don't see much of the original structure. It's just, this one, maybe they kind of fit together, but I would call this brecciated. Here you can see some of the original order of the rock where they broke but didn't really completely separate. Jasper always has interesting patterns. And the rhyolite. Oh, that one brightens up when it gets wet. In fact, this one's absorbent. The water soaks into it. Very nice. Again, this is from Rock Creek Beach. Those of you who are from that part of the country. I want to see the jade wet. So this is not serpentine, although I think it's related. Jade, of course, is much harder. It's a gemstone. And this feels hard. It's like glassy smooth, which means it does not abrade easily. You can see it has these inclusions that are more probably of a regular hardness and have eroded. But the jade itself does not erode readily. Very cool stuff. I don't have much jade, so thank you so much, Adam. There's our beautiful Oregon and 1 California rocks for this time around. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a while this afternoon. We have sure been able to see some cool rocks. Thank you, Adam, again for especially all those freebies. Those were beautiful, unique, and unexpected. Always a pleasant surprise. You guys, please like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. That really helps us out.